Hello and welcome to We Random, episode 73. This is a podcast where we talk about random stuff, and B will tell you a little bit more about that. But before we do that, Brian, I was talking to my niece, and I told her, the sky's the limit for you. And she was pissed, because she wants to be an astronaut. Skies. Yep. We'll be back right after this.
Almost Qualified Productions. Your dose of semi-coherent babbling.
Welcome to We Random, episode 73. I'm Landmark, out there in that world over there, Sconzi. Say hello to our wonderful people, Sconzi.
Hello, everybody.
So, if you are new here, welcome. If you are a veteran of the program, this is We Random. This is where we spin that big old wheel of doom that we got in the middle of this screen, or that you can just envision if you're listening to the podcast. When we spin that wheel, a topic's going to come up, and then there's like a 50-50 chance that we're going to get mad online about something. So, that's what this podcast is about. We have a very wonderful and special random rankings for you today, as well as Sconzi has said, returning to our roots of doing a bracket. But before we do that, Sconzi, we've got two items to address. Item number one, do you have any words of wisdom for the people today?
I don't have words of wisdom, but we did have some people who wanted to join in on the great joke culture that we have going on here. And so for those who are listening and not live in the chat, I want to make sure that you are aware that Old Man Wiggum let us know that joke didn't get off the ground. And Moo Cow Rich wanted to know if she asked me, or if she told me that she needs some space now. So, yeah, so clearly we got jokesters in the chat tonight.
All right. Wow. That is a rousing way to get started. But before we get mad online, I would like to introduce you, loyal listener, loyal viewer of the program, to our positive point. As you might remember from previous episodes, the positive point is a topic of positivity, an artifact of hope, or some other thing that Sconzi and I think we want to share with you but don't want to get mad online about. So, tonight, that item is from the world of professional wrestling.
Oh boy.
We're going to talk about professional wrestling for a minute, Sconzi. How do you feel about that?
Oh, it's my favorite.
It sure is. On the weekend of WWE's WrestleMania event in Dallas, Texas, many independent wrestling companies headed to Dallas as well to bring alternative options to fans. Game Changer Wrestling, or GCW, is one company that was in Dallas this past weekend. Based out of New Jersey, GCW took to the Dallas Fair Park for a few days to host a series of events called The Collective. What The Collective did is it featured different cultures not often celebrated or featured on wrestling's biggest stages. One of the events within the collaborative was called For the Culture. That wrestling card featured a card full of all black wrestlers. Another event, Effie's Big Gay Brunch, showcased LGBTQ talent in the professional wrestling industry. So I wanted to bring this up because I saw this, I watch professional wrestling, spoiler for you all, but I saw this kind of come through my Twitter feed because obviously when WWE goes anywhere for WrestleMania, like all these other companies go and like do their thing because they want to try to make money too. But I thought that this was kind of cool that they're really trying to focus in on these different groups and say, okay, we're going to run this card that's like all black wrestlers, and we're going to run this card of individuals who identify themselves in the LGBTQ community and things like that. So I thought that was kind of cool and deserved a little bit of shout out.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, I think all different areas of our world, of our country, of our lives could use some of that, additional diversity and additional spotlight. So I think bringing that to light, I think is a great thing.
Yeah, we've talked so much on this podcast about representation and how representation matters. So, having these cards where there's representation for these groups that don't often get that representation is great.
Yeah, no, I agree completely.
Cool. So now that we have covered our positive point, what do you say, Sconzi? How about we get that wheel moving and we find a topic to get mad online about?
I think that sounds like a good idea. So let me pull that up and spin that old wheel and see what we get. We're going to talk about the NFL and some rule changes that they got.
Ooh. All right. So the National Football League, after everyone was so very sad the Buffalo Bills were not able to touch the ball in overtime, have decided to put through a rule change. Both teams will now be guaranteed a possession during overtime of postseason games after the NFL owners approved the modified rules during the NFL annual meeting. This rule only applies to the postseason, with the regular season rule remaining in place that the first team to score a touchdown in overtime, unless both teams have already touched the ball, can remain in place. So, Sconzi, like, there were a lot of people who complained about this, and we actually had a conversation about this back on one of our previous episodes where we kind of agreed, like, the best way to approach this is play a 15-minute quarter, because something like this is like, cool, both teams get to touch the ball. So what if both teams go down and they score a touchdown, and then the first team goes down and scores a touchdown? Then people are going to be mad again, right? Like, it's just like a never-ending weird cycle of like rule changing kind of for the sake of rule changing for the sake of rule changing, which, again, I think in terms of entertainment value, like, this is probably progress, because in theory in the postseason we're not going to be getting a game with like Ian Book and Drew Lock where like neither quarterback can sniff the end zone. But I still would have preferred the whole just play the extra quarter thing. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we had this conversation during the playoffs, and that's where I'm at. Like, I love what college football does. I think it's fun. I think it's exciting. I think it does something different. But in the end, just play more football. Like, that's what baseball does. Well, kind of. Now they're changing that shit up. It's what the NBA does, right? You just play more football. It's just that simple. I think that you do that. I think that you tie that into the coin flip in the first half, or for the first quarter, right? When your kickoff happens, that they get to choose what they want, and 99% of the time they defer, right? They want the ball in the second half, so they give up the ball the first half. But what if giving up the ball in the first half also means that now, if there's an overtime, the other team gets to choose what they want in overtime? Now all of a sudden that adds an extra level to that, right? So I think that's the easiest way. Keep it as it is, play an extra quarter. If you have to play an extra 2 or 3 or 4 quarters, and so be it. That's what it is. That's what it turns into. But I think that the sudden death part of it is you've got 15 minutes to figure it out on the football field. I mean, this new process, it's at least a step, I guess, in a more fair direction. I think it's going to add some extra different strategy to it. Do you want the ball first? Do you want the ball second? There was somebody, I don't remember who it was. Sean Payton is the name that comes to mind, but I don't think that's who it was. Who was talking about, do you take the win? Is that more important? Because you may be in a situation where you have to kick a field goal to either win or to try to stay tied, or whatever the case may be. So maybe you choose the direction you want to defend versus taking the ball or not. Like, there's a lot of different things that play into it, which I think is interesting to see how that works out. But again, in the end, just play more football, man.
Right. Like, my whole thing with this is like, why are we enacting a rule just for the postseason? Just like make the rule be the rule. Like, either it's a good rule or it's a bad rule, but just like make it the rule.
Well, I don't hate that they have the rule as they do in the regular season. I almost lean towards play extra football in the playoffs and just don't have an overtime in the regular season. Like, if you're that worried about extending the game, don't extend it at all.
Right.
If you're tied, you're tied. You get a tie on your record. End of story.
Right.
Like, just do that.
Well, and that's kind of my point with the regular season thing, because they're like, oh, these playoff games are so important, but then like in the regular season, like those games might be important too. So if you want to create urgency for people, then create urgency for people and say, like, at the end of the game, if it's tied, it's tied.
Yeah. I think the urgency is, if you know that the game is going to end, that's your urgency, right? So yeah, I don't know. That's where I'm at. It's going to be what it is. Something's going to happen this year in the playoffs, and everybody's going to be up in arms again. But it's a small step in the right direction, maybe, I guess. Are we spinning the wheel?
Cool. Let's spin her.
Ellie
let's spin it.
Ellie wants to know comparing the NFL to Congress, and I think they're all worthless, personally. What do I know? How about we talk about speaking of Congress, let's talk about Disney and the GOP. It's kind of Congress related.
All right. Well, we talked about Disney a couple weeks ago and the whole gay bill in Florida and things like that. Well, now Florida GOP leaders are vowing to yank Disney's quasi-governmental privileges at the Orlando theme park over its opposition to Florida's so-called Don't Say Gay bill. Florida Representative Spencer Roach says that meetings have been convened to discuss repealing the Reedy Creek Improvement District agreement that allows Disney to act as its own government. Basically, this arrangement was created in 1967, think about that, to attract Disney to Florida, and it gives the company control over operations such as law enforcement and fire units at its theme parks. Now, remember how we also had that article about how the GOP hates cancel culture and how people should be able to have their free speech and say what they want without repercussion.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Do you remember that? Remember that?
Of course, yeah.
Foot meet mouth.
Yeah.
Like this is the whole, like, here is a contradiction in action, right? They're like, oh, well, these people spoke out against us, so now we're gonna basically bully you into like silence by saying, oh, well, if you keep saying things about this bill, we're just gonna take away your status and make life miserable for you.
Yeah.
Great, cool. That's the kind of society that we live in now.
So I think there's a couple different angles to this that we can talk to, right? Like the direction you're going, which is around quote unquote cancel culture or accountability culture. And then there's the specific part about Disney and the Don't Say Gay bill and all that, right? And so
yeah,
Disney was very, very tentative in doing anything about this, right? Like they didn't want to do anything. Right. And a bunch of their people that worked for them and some of the creators that work for them got very, very upset, made a big stink about it. Disney kind of very, very easily, slowly tiptoed into the waters. And then they came out, and it still wasn't a super strong message, but it was a fairly strong message. Say, yo, this is not okay. We do not support this. And we talked about it at the time, and Ellie and I talked about it when she was on the show. Like there's a big reason that Disney doesn't want to do this is because they can't bite the hand that feeds them, right? Like corporations are in bed with Congress, with the government, period. Point blank, end of story. That's just how it is. And they have to they open up the coffers and give a bunch of money to get rules passed that are in their favor. And so as soon as they start to have any kind of an opinion that goes against that ruling body, now they're putting that at risk. And the second that they came out with any kind of a statement of support and any kind of a strong stance that this isn't okay, immediately, probably the next frickin' day, now all of a sudden we need to destroy Disney and we need to take away all these protections they have and all of that, which kind of falls into the cancel culture thing, right? Like I don't remember exactly what my comment to you was, is, you know, the right likes to say that cancel culture is horrible and it's terrible. And it, you know, they also say it doesn't exist. So I don't know how it can be both those things at the same time, but you know, this is terrible and it can't happen. Yet they take cancel culture to the nth level, right? Like if they decide they don't want something to happen, they fucking legislate it. It's not like they go on Twitter and they start a grassroots effort to make sure that, you know, somebody can't make movies anymore. Like they're going to take away your legal protections. Like, we don't like people who have abortions, so we're going to change the fucking law so you can't do it anymore. Like that's how they cancel shit, right? They take it to that next level. So yep. I mean, I could go on and on about how the right handles this because it's atrocious, but I'll let you talk.
Well, I mean, I think that's the important part, and I think we're just giving a voice to this, right? Obviously, we have our very, as you've called it, our very small platform to put a voice to these things, because these are the type of things that really need to be pointed out. Now, again, it is what it is. Some people are going to say, yeah, well, that's their right. Like, they can say what they want. And there was one guy who came out and he's like, I'm going to give back the $3,000 that Disney gave me because I'm so upset that they've come out against this law. And I'm like, okay, cool, dude. Like, that's like, 1/97th of what you probably wrote off on your taxes, right?
Right.
But, like, it's just frustrating that people don't call this stuff out. Like, they just let it slide without any sort of attention or um, anything.
Well, I think part of the problem is there's a whole lot of people in the country that agree with this kind of shit, right? And they want this to happen, and there's also a very large group of people, and I think the Venn diagram is almost a circle where they're too stupid to look more than 2 inches in front of their face, right? They're like, well, I don't like gay people, and I don't want people to say gay people and talk about gay people in schools. So yes, we need to take away all their rights and fuck Disney for saying stuff and standing up for it and blah 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 blah, right? And they're too ignorant to look at the way that this can and does and will or could impact all these different areas in the future. And we're starting to see so much of this crap where we continue to push this hate legislation, and it's just bubbling up everywhere. Oklahoma just passed laws to basically outlaw abortion. We got the transgender stuff that's gone through in Texas, and this "Don't Say Gay" bill in Florida, and you're seeing this legislation pop up in damn near every state in the entire country because we've allowed it to happen. We allow people to press this hate agenda, and it's just going to keep coming.
100%. And there's elections going on today in our state where it's like, the results of some of these could be very important in terms of legislation that gets passed in certain areas and how that impacts certain marginalized communities. And it's just very scary.
Yeah, it is.
So let's spin the wheel.
Now
we're sad instead of being angry, but it's fine.
That's okay. We can talk about Giannis.
Hey, this is not a sad story.
Well, it might be because I've got a little bit of a sad angle that I'm gonna throw at it.
Oh no! Don't do it. Giannis Antetokounmpo has surpassed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the Milwaukee Bucks all-time leader in scoring. Giannis passed Kareem for first place on the franchise's all-time scoring list with his three-point make in a game against the Brooklyn Nets. In that game, he surpassed 14,211 points. So, in his 9th season with the Bucks, Giannis is now the franchise's all-time leader in points, blocks, and triple-doubles. He is also second in Bucks history in field goals made, second in free throws made. Think about that. As much as he struggled with free throws, he's second in free throws made, and threes, and really good in a bunch of other stuff. So, I put this on here because I thought this was kind of cool because we, as Wisconsinites, we're kind of spoiled in some ways with like generational talents with like the Packers, right? We've had, Rodgers and Favre and some of these other guys. We've had Yount and Molitor and stuff like that. But like Giannis, hopefully, will be one of those names that we talk about in, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And then when we're dead, people talk about him after we're dead, right?
Right.
But like, I just think that this is pretty cool, and I wanted to call it out. So what is your sad take on it?
Well, it's also speaking to, Giannis and how great he's been in Milwaukee. In fact, he holds the season record for player efficiency rating, which I guess is a rating that's supposed to calculate, how great of a player or season that you have. He's got the record, but it's going to get broken this year. In fact, there are 2 players that are above his pace this year. He is one of them, and the other one is Nikola Jokic. I don't know how to Jokic. I don't know how to pronounce it. Jokic,
yeah.
They are both above that pace, so he may lose that record. He may lose it to himself. Either way, it sounds like he's going to break it, barring a really bad end of the season. So, again, it speaks to how good he is that he had the all-time record. And after this season, he's probably going to have 2 of the 3 top seasons of all time, going back to, I think it was like the mid-'70s when they that they're able to trace this stat back to. So
Yeah. People are like, oh, Joel Embiid should be the MVP. No, stop it. Like, people are just still kind of sleeping on Giannis, which is fine, but he's just had an incredible career. Like where he started to where he is now is amazing, and I'm very happy that he is committed to Milwaukee for at least a few more years.
Yeah, and he seems like he's a decent person, right? He cares about the community and he does a lot of good stuff. I mean, Chick-fil-A notwithstanding.
Notwithstanding, right?
Let's spin the wheel. Hopefully he doesn't fall off a cliff like fucking Yelich does. Let's talk about Bruce Arians and his very suspicious timing of his announcement.
Oh, you're talking about the Bruce Arians beret of truth?
It's something like that, I guess.
So when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady returned, many thought that the Bucs would be taking a last dance together. Instead, head coach Bruce Arians recently resigned his role with the team, appointing defensive coordinator Todd Bowles as the new head coach. This move left many wondering if Arians has a beef with Brady or if there are other shenanigans at play. So the interesting part about this is I really didn't hear anything about the Brady stuff, but I had heard the stuff about like they kind of wanted to like shenanigans this so that they got past the date where they didn't have to do the Rooney Rule thing, and then they could just give the job to Todd Bowles, who I think would have qualified for Rooney Rule anyway. But like that's what I heard. But what's your spin and take on this one, Scott?
Well, yeah, I mean, Tom Brady's like, that's it, I'm done, I'm leaving, I'm retired. And then, like a month later, Tom Brady's like, hey, yeah, I'm coming back. And then, like the next day, Bruce Arians is like, yeah, I'm leaving. Like, and they're like, oh, it has nothing to do. No. Tom Brady, no, they get along. No, it's great. They have a great relationship. Shut the fuck up. Like, come on, give me a break. Like, the only thing that they could have done to make it more obvious what this issue is if he would have said he's retiring before Brady said, oh, yeah, hey, guess what? I actually want to come back and play. Like, come on, get out of here with that garbage.
Or if, like, Bruce Arians would have gotten fired and then Brady comes back.
Right, it's just...
He's like, wait, I'm coming back.
Clearly there's an issue there. And I mean, I guess if you have to choose Bruce Arians or Tom Brady, I guess you choose Tom Brady. I don't know.
Yeah, well, like Arians has a reputation of not exactly being someone who always tells the truth all the time from, what I've heard and what I've read. So
and Tom Brady is on record as saying, I lie to the media 90% of the time. So like, you can't believe a word that comes out of any of their mouths.
Right. Well, I guess it'll just be another year of people loving the Buccaneers, and then we'll see what happens in the playoffs.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Get done. I'm done with the Bucs.
Okay.
In a surprise twist, Arians announces his return and Tom Brady retires again. That's probably exactly what happened. This is a sad story. We're going to talk about Bruce Willis, one of my favorite actors. Well, I can't say a favorite actor, but like I really, really like this guy's movies over the years.
All right, so the Golden Raspberry Awards, most often referred to as the Razzies, have been around to recognize cinema's worst films and performances. In 2021, Bruce Willis received his own special category called the Worst Performance by Bruce Willis in a 2021 Movie. Just days after the Razzies handed out Willis's award, Willis's family announced that he was stepping away from acting after being diagnosed with aphasia, a condition that can affect a person's ability to understand and produce language. In response to the announcement, organizers of the Razzies rescinded Willis's award, saying that it was inappropriate to award based on this new information.
Yeah.
So basically, this company is around to kind of be a dick to people.
Absolutely, they're dicks. Yep.
Then they realized that, they were being a dick, like when they shouldn't have been. Which cool, it's fine. Like again, this is kind of this we as Americans, I think especially, like we ride this very fine line of like comedy and roasts and like spoofs and jokes and things like that. And like something like that. Like if everybody's in on it, okay, sure, it's funny. But then they're like, oh crap, like this isn't funny at all. Like we just made fun of somebody's. Like this is like Will Smith and Chris Rock to like another level, right?
Yeah, yeah. So when you say we as Americans, and then we're talking about making fun of people, my mind immediately went back to that like Miss America contestant from like 10 or 15 years ago. You guys remember that video where she totally flubbed the Mario Lopez question? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go look it up. It's freaking hilarious. Anyway, like the Razzies, I mean, I would like to say that it's tongue in cheek, but I don't know that it necessarily is. I think it's a group who wants to be cruel, but they want to do it and have people believe that it's tongue in cheek kind of thing.
Right. Like it's a roast, basically. Like
yeah.
that's
Well,
kind of the way that
you're in on the
trying
joke
to
if
do
it's
it.
a roast. You know what I mean? And I don't know that that's the case here. I mean, it's almost like somebody coming into your office and saying, "Hey, who had the worst performance review?" And then they just like walk around and they give you an award and they laugh at you. Like, go fuck yourself, right? Like that's just stupid. I mean, I think this is a great example, and for myself too, because God knows that I say shit about people that I shouldn't say. It's a good reminder that people have their own struggles. People have struggles, and we don't know what they're dealing with. We have to take that into consideration. So some of the things in the article, if you read through that, which was sad, is it? And I think it's on this article. It may be a different article that I read, but it kind of talked about how for a couple of years now, Bruce Willis has been doing these, if you've watched any of these movies, they're not good movies at all. But, he takes a couple $1 million. He literally, they shortened all of these down to like a 2-day shoot. And then even though it's a couple days, they're like, he can only work for like 4 hours or something. He always had people that came with him, people that would read the lines for him. There was one story about a time where he had like a gun that had blanks in it, and he kept shooting it at the wrong time. It was pretty evident that he's been struggling with this. I think that there was probably a decision, whether it was by him or somebody else, I don't know, to try to push him into as many of these movies as possible to make some money back. I don't know if he's got money problems or whatever, but it seemed like it was kind of like a quick go and get some more extra money before it's to the point where you can't do this anymore. And it's just sad. Like it's sad that he's deteriorated to this point. And, like I said, this is somebody that I grew up watching in a lot of different movies. And I was a super huge fan. And, we're all getting older, and we're all going to have, we have our struggles now, and we're going to have our struggles moving forward. And this was one that, we have a lot of celebrity situations that happen, right? Celebrity deaths or celebrity struggles or whatever it is. And, sometimes I feel like it's stupid that we're affected by them, but this one affected me. This one genuinely made me sad.
Fair enough. Well, do you want to try to see if we can find a topic that's a little happier?
I mean, it can't get much worse than that. Jesus Christ.
I mean, we could
Oh,
start
I
talking
lied.
about the Brewers.
It got worse. We're going to talk about 220.
Oh, we are talking about the Brewers.
Oh, Jesus.
Awesome. So, the Milwaukee Brewers are close to setting their opening day roster, with the season beginning this upcoming Thursday. The Brewers plan to open the season with 15 pitchers out of a 28-player roster, an alignment that reflects the shortened spring schedule in a busy month of April that includes just one day off. Now, the Brewers did get hit with a little piece of news today, as their backup catcher was suspended for 80 games due to a PED positive test. The catcher claimed it was a mistake and blah, 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 blah. But right now, they don't have a backup catcher until they call up someone from the minor leagues. But even in spite of that, Vegas and internet sleuths are really high on the Brewers. Vegas odds have the Brewers right around 90 wins. So, Sconzi, I'm going to ask you the question. Over 90 wins, under 90 wins, or right at 90 wins? What do we take?
Well, I just want to remind everybody of the magic number this year. It's right there on your screen. Well, it's not black and white. It's just white. 220, that's the magic number. 220. Will they win 90 games? Well, old man Wiggum thinks they're going to win 95. I'm going to say they're under 90 wins, and here's why. I sent you guys, you and Wiggs, I sent you an article a couple days ago. Maybe it was today. I don't remember. All my days are mashed together. But they're ranking the best pitching staffs in baseball. And when I started streaming through that, I thought, oh, we'll probably be 15th. No, maybe top 10. Oh, shit. No, we're number 1. They think we have the best pitching staff in baseball, which, you know, when you think about it, it might be right. It very well could be right. But but the simple fact of the matter is we have nobody who can hit the goddamn ball. And that's a problem. If you don't believe that's a problem, just go back and watch our series against the Braves. You have to score some runs no matter how good your pitching staff is. And what are the odds that the whole pitching staff is going to stay healthy the entire season? What are the odds that we're not going to have to pull some different guys in to get some stuff done? I mean, 95 wins or even over 90 wins, that's a good season. Like, that's a legit good season if you win that many games. I just don't see that this team, historically, when I look at what these guys that we have done, I don't see them getting enough consistent offensive production to do that. Now, I still think that they're probably the best team in the division, but unless you get some guys, I mean, you have to count on Willie Adames playing an entire season the way he did, you know, after he came to Milwaukee last year, which was above where you would expect him to be. You have to have Christian Yelich pretend to be the old Christian Yelich at least, right? I mean, a bunch of guys are going to have to do stuff that are above what they generally have been doing. Maybe that can happen, but if I'm putting money on this, I'm putting money on the under.
All right. I think I will take the over, but just barely, right? Like, I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of people saying World Series and they might win 100 games. And I'm like, I don't know what you're seeing. And it could just be that I have that like super pessimistic Wisconsin sports fan, like we've been burned one too many times attitude. But it's like people are trying to tell me, oh, you know, the Brewers should really pay Tyrone Taylor more over Lorenzo Cain. And oh, Hunter Renfroe is going to be amazing. And oh, you know, we're going to get a full season out of Roddy Tellez and he's not just going to be a platoon split first baseman. And I'm like, okay, sure, I guess. I don't know. Like, I think I always used to talk about, and I have always forgot to go look this up, but in my childhood, I remember a San Diego Padres team that was like all pitching and like no offense whatsoever. And like,
Right.
that's basically what this team is. Like, that is the blueprint that David Stearns like saw and is like, yes, I would like to be that. And like, that's what this team is. This team wants to win every game 3-2. Like, if we can get 3 runs, they feel like they're going to win because they've got the pitching. But, you know, they're
But getting
not
3
gonna
runs
score
isn't
3
guaranteed with the squad. That's the thing.
Right. Like, so I don't know. I the thing about our division is it's garbage, right? Like,
Yeah.
Cincinnati sold all of their players. Pittsburgh, mediocrity to its finest. Chicago lost a bunch of its players. Like St. Louis, you know, putting the band back together for one last dance with Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols.
Right.
like basically the Brewers would have to just like vomit all over their shoes to lose this division.
Yeah, and I think that the Brewers go into this. Stearns built a team, and they're counting on one guy to hit a jack a game. That's kind of
Yep.
what they're living on, right? Somebody's going to hit a home run. We'll get a couple runs, and then our pitching will get us the win. And
Yep.
sure, that may happen, but the fact that you're building your entire offensive philosophy about over getting a home run is scary, to say the least. Because as much as you could look at the team and say, hey, you know what, they might get hot, and then we'll go on a run, it's probably more likely that they're going to get not hot and we're going to go on a different kind of run. And so I don't know. Again, if I'm a betting man, I'm betting the under. It doesn't mean that they can't do it. It doesn't mean they won't do it. It doesn't mean that they couldn't go to the World Series. Like, if you can get to the playoffs, pitching it generally is the main thing that you need. But as we showed last year, it doesn't matter how good your pitching is if you can't get a hit. And I think that's what's going to be their downfall.
Gotcha. All right. So now we are at a pivotal point here. We've probably got time for one more story, right?
We could. Yeah. Do you want to throw your flag on something?
I do, because we foreshadowed this on our extra time for our patrons this past weekend. I want to talk to you about Eric Church.
I thought you might. You're all about that church shit.
You know. All right, you ready?
Yeah, tell us what it is.
Cool. Country music star Eric Church announced that he was canceling his show set for Saturday, April 2nd in San Antonio in order to go to the Final Four game between North Carolina and Duke. Church, a diehard supporter of the North Carolina Tar Heels, said that he understood that the decision was selfish, but he told his fans that attending a game between the two teams in the Final Four is any sports enthusiast's dream. Church then said he understands that while he's asking his fans to give up Saturday night plans with him so he and his family can go do a thing, he will make it up to them. And after thanking his fans for allowing him to attend the game, Church said that he will be coming back to New Braunfels, Texas on September 2nd for a one-of-a-kind free show to make it up to all of those people that he let down by being selfish and going to the Final Four. So the question that I have for you, Skanzi, is what event would you drop everything for? Just go do.
Oh, I forgot that you were going to ask me that. First of all, can I just say this guy's kind of a dick? Can I say that? I just want to throw that out there.
Do you want to play the drop? Do you want to expound on why he's a dick?
Random dick of the week. All right. So this guy says, "Hey, this is a once in a lifetime thing. This is a very special moment for me. I'm a really big North Carolina fan, and I want to go with my family to watch this." However, there's 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 people who said, "Hey, I'm a really big Eric Church fan. I really want to go Saturday and watch him in his concert. I'm going to bring my family and we're going to have a great time." But guess what? Eric Church said, "Fuck you" to those 30, 40, 50,000 people because him going to a goddamn basketball game is more important. Like, I think that's incredibly selfish. Like, I 100% get it. I understand that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to do something like that. Probably, like, it's the first time it's ever happened. I get it. But you've also got a whole bunch of people that have paid to come see you. And yeah, maybe you're giving their money back. I don't know for sure that they've done that. I would assume they have, but it's still a dick move. Like, whether or not I would do it, I don't know. I might, maybe, but it's a dick move regardless. Because as much as you're saying, I can't miss this because it's that important, you are also giving no chance for the however many number of thousands of people that also wanted to do something. You're taking that away from them. And I think it's a bullshit move.
Right. No, I 100% agree. So that's the hard part about this. Like, I've tried to think about it. Like, I'm the type of person that tries to keep my commitments as much as I can. And if I can't keep my commitment, I try to be upfront. Like, hey, here's the deal. I can't do this thing. Here's why. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a situation where I'm like, oh shit. Like, I'm just going to decide to go do this other thing. Yeah. Like, that's not really.
I mean, it happens, right? Like, everybody has priorities, and his priority was fuck my fans. I'm going to basketball. That's his choice, right? And if that's what he wants to do, fine, he can go do that. But if I was a fan that was set to go to San Antonio and watch him play, I'm going to be pretty pissed off about that.
Right.
It's just where I'm at.
Fair enough. Well, I think the key there is to treat other people with kindness.
I think that would be good. And to answer your question, if the Brewers are in the World Series, I'm doing whatever it takes to get to that game. I'm quitting my job. I'm traveling across country. I'm punching somebody in the face. I don't give a shit. I'm going to the game. I'm standing up 30,000 people who paid to watch the stream. I don't care. I'll be the dick. Then Emily can have her podcast the next week, and she can call me the Montana random dick of the week. Mo Random. That's what it could be. The Mo Random show. Oh,
Mo
Emily,
Random.
I got it all branded for you and everything. Mo Random.
Mo Random. We need, like, I feel like as many like dude ranches as I looked at when I was trying to look at ideas for vacations for birthday adopted. There needs to be like some like nice like dude ranch like cowboy sounds too, instead of like the we random dick of the week. It like plays some like upbeat like folky tune.
I don't know. All of
I
a
don't
sudden,
know.
I'm thinking we need to expand the almost qualified production. We need a Mo Random frickin' podcast. Emily, you should do this. You should do a podcast.
I
Anyway,
mean,
I'm very
we
excited
should
about
instead
this
of calling
idea.
instead of calling it extra time, we should have just called it Mo Random.
Maybe that we'll have to have a Mo Random episode. Anyway, I understand Wiggum and Emily. You guys aren't mad about it. I understand all of that. I just I look at the fact I have a very high responsibility rating, and this is a person who has a responsibility to these people that are paying to watch him perform. And the fact that he threw all that away because I need to go do this thing, it doesn't sit right with me. I understand why he did it,
Right.
right? I completely get that. I almost blew off a work thing a bunch of years ago because Nebraska was playing at Camp Randall, and thankfully I didn't because they lost by like 70 and that would have sucked. But I understand. I understand. All right, what do you think? Is it time to move on? Wait,
Sure
no,
is.
you have
It's
to answer.
time.
You have to answer. What would you go drop everything for? And chat, we want to hear your
I don't-
ideas too.
I honestly don't know. Like, I can't think of anything that I would be like, I'm gonna like just not do this for a thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I think for me, it would have to be legit like a spur of the moment thing, and I would have to like. I'm all about evaluating. Like, okay, so if I don't do this, what does that mean, right? Like, if somebody's paying me to do something, I'm not gonna be like, oh crap, I can't do that, right?
Yeah.
But if it's like, oh well, like I could take this day off work and nobody would be impacted, or like, okay, like I have to like not be on the podcast, but I know that C might want a day off anyway, like that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like those are the kind of decisions that I make
Right.
in terms of if I'm going to be able to do something or not.
Yeah. I hear you. Wig
So-
says Packers
so
Super
impulse
Bowl.
decision.
I feel you. I almost drove down to Dallas for the last Packers Super Bowl. Thankfully, we didn't because they got an ice storm and that would have sucked. All right, I think it's time, B. Are you ready for it?
It is. This has got to be it, Gonzi.
This is wait, what?
This has got to be it.
This has got to be it. It's got to be it.
It's got to be it.
All right, I'm moving over to the random rankings.
It is time for random rankings. We are returning to our roots to complete the Wisconsin snack bracket. So you may remember, I think it was last year or 2 years ago or whenever we did it, there was the snacklet bracket. This is another version of the snacklet bracket, but Milwaukee Record has rounded up a total of 32 Wisconsin-made treats. The competitors have been separated into 4 regions: sweet, salty, sauce and dip, or sausage and cheese. So what we're going to do is we are going to look at these items and we are going to decide if we want to eat them and move them on to the next round. So the typical rules here are: if Sconzi and I agree, the item moves on. If Sconzi and I disagree, you, loyal chat viewer, get to decide what item moves on.
That's
so,
right.
Sconzi, are you ready?
Yeah. Hopefully you guys can kind of see this. I know it's really, really small. It's the best I can do right now.
All right. So, are we starting in the
I
top
did that.
left with cream puffs and ESO cookies?
Let's do it. I already know what you're betting.
All right.
You're voting against cream puffs, right?
So I really thought I wanted to vote against cream puffs, right? Because cream puffs are like the most meh of dessert items.
You've had
But
bad cream puffs in your life. I'm just going to let you know that.
Maybe, I don't know. I've had like the Wisconsin State Fair cream puff. I've had like grocery store cream puffs. Like, I don't know. But apparently ESO cookies are vegan cookies. And I am someone who is notorious enough that my stance on cookies precedes me at work. I always tell people there is one place in this world for a hard cookie, and it is directly in the garbage. So, in that vein, I will vote for cream puffs because I might be afraid that those cookies would be hard.
So I apparently can't draw on this thing. I mean, I could earlier when I tested it, and now it's not letting me draw on it. I don't know, freaking PowerPoint. I should have found a better way to do this. So I looked up these ESO cookies. It looks like it's a Milwaukee area bakery. They didn't look good. Like, I'm sorry, they just didn't look great. So yeah, cream puffs definitely have to move on in this one. Also, if anybody knows how I can draw on this picture in PowerPoint, please tell me, because it's not working.
All right, so we'll move to the next one. Did you figure it out?
I did. The next one, what do we got?
So we got Greeby's Donuts or BCC Cow Pies. I am not sure what BCC Cow Pies are, but please wait. We are going to find out.
Yeah, you need to look this up.
Cow Pies.
BCC Cow Pies. Barbacoa Candy Company? Is that what it is, maybe?
Oh, maybe.
They're just regular cow pies by the look of it.
Yeah, Baraboo Candy Company Cow Pies.
I don't know how to read.
Baraboo Candy Company.
What is Baraboo? Yeah, you're right.
So I think, like, I don't know that I'm like super all about cow pies anyway. So I think I have to go with the Greeby's Donuts here.
Yeah, I'm trying to take a
being
look.
a local to Milwaukee area.
Trying to see if they got any pictures of their donuts in here, but I'm not seeing any.
They should. And they made a donut beer that I never got, and it made me very sad.
I mean, I'm bigger on donuts than I am cream pies anyway, so I'm going with the donuts. B. What do you say?
All right, donuts. Yep, I said donuts.
Donuts move on. All right. We got more donuts here. The Quick Trip Glazers, the number 2 seed, against GG Caramel Corn.
GG's Caramel Corn.
I mean,
so I don't know what GG's Caramel Corn is, but I gotta go with Caramel Corn, right?
I'm going with the Glazers, man. I know we already got some donuts in here, but I got to go with the Glazers, especially because it doesn't. I'm guessing it doesn't come with cheese corn as well, and that just ruins it for me.
Okay.
Cheese popcorn. So, Chad, it's up to you.
Well, Chad, what's up?
Glazers,
give it to us,
or the caramel corn? Quick Trip has surprisingly good food.
They do. They really do.
Wiggs is in on the Glazers. Oh, Dubs is in on the caramel corn. Emily's in on the Glazers. Emily was already talking about caramel corn, so that's probably where her vote's going to go. We might have to randomize this. Emily or Ellie can't go against the Glazers. Oh, okay. Glazers get the win. All right.
Glazers get the win. Okay.
Number 2. All right. What do we got? Oh, B. This is cheating.
No, this is not cheating because both of these are not the correct answer.
All right, B. What do we got?
So we have 2 Kringles that are not the best Kringle in Wisconsin. We have the O&H Bakery Kringle or the Racine Bakery Kringle. And because I know that I don't want you to get DMCA'd, I will not sing Sir Mix-a-Lot about Kringles, even though I really, really, really want to.
Wait, you should. Now I want you to.
But I can't because then you'll get
no, I won't. You'll be good.
You'll
be good.
It'll just be bad. So basically, I'm trying to find this. The thing about people are always like all about this Racine Kringle. This Racine Kringle, no, it's flat. Don't nobody want no flat Kringle. Come on. You need that Uncle Mike's Kringle from Green Bay. Let's go. That's what I need. I don't need no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get you strikes. I'm just going to shut my mouth. Mm-mm.
All right, so here's a couple pictures for y'all. This is the O&H or OH Kringle. And this is the Racine Kringle. And this is the one I see all the time. Well, I mean, I was living in that area of the state. But this one to me looks much better. Look at that puff pastry up on the top.
Yep.
And by the way, B is right. If you've not had, what is it, Uncle Mike's? If you've not had Uncle Mike's, it is so next level. What is it? The caramel? Is that what they've got? Caramel Kringle or something like that?
They've got so many. They've got caramel turtle. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And they ship. And they ship. It's expensive, but they ship.
All right. So I'm going O and H, B. Is that what you're going with?
I'll come with you on that one.
All right. O and H is winning. Dubs or Wiggs thinks that Kringle should be flat. I don't know. Emily doesn't know what we're talking about.
We already know that Wiggs has suspect food taste,
yeah.
So it's fine.
Can somebody get Emily a link to Uncle Mike's Bakery in Green Bay? We need to get her a Kringle. Dubs liked Racing Kringle too. Holy smokes. Ellie says only in Wisconsin is there so much passion around a Kringle, which is why it's the best state in the union. I think you're right. All right, we need to move along. We're taking a long time. We're on to the sauce and dip.
Sauce dip. All right, we got cheese spread and spat sauce, which I've never heard of.
What the hell is spat sauce? I'm looking it up. Spats sauce. SPATS, is that right? Yeah, Spats sauce. They got a Facebook. There's a place called Spats Appleton. I'm guessing that's what it is. Spats sauce. It's got spice and creaminess for your meats and side dishes. It says it's great with salmon, so I'm voting against it. I'm going cheese spread.
All right, cheese spread. Let's move.
Because I don't want anything to do with
this next one's a wrap. Sorry, Kakana spread, but you lose to Secret Stadium sauce.
Okay. Yep, I agree. Coop's mustard or Renard's bacon ketchup?
Mustard, bacon ketchup. Now, I don't like mustard, but I got a funny mustard story. So a friend of mine used to have a family member who worked at a mustard company, and when they would do their family tailgate, there would be like 19 different kinds of mustard, and it was kind of amazing. So I'm going to go with the mustard.
Yeah, it's mustard all day long. Not even close in my mind. We got beer cheese dip or Bucky Badger French onion. Ooh, interesting.
Beer cheese dip.
Yes, I agree. All right, let's do the first round over here. Let's go to cheese and sausage. B, what do we got?
We got Wisconsin Cheese Co. cheese curds or Sargento cheese sticks. Now, I have to admit, I don't like squeaky cheese curds. So, if that's the case, I have to vote for the cheese sticks.
That is incorrect. It is cheese curds, and it has to be cheese curds.
All right. Well, chat, tell me I'm wrong. I'll be fine with that. I just can't vote for squeaky cheese curds that aren't fried. Now, if those are fried, I will change my vote.
I'm sure they're not. Wisconsin Cheese Curd Company. It looks like curds are winning in a landslide. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We got venison hot sticks and Saz mott sticks. We're going to be on opposite sides, aren't we?
Ooh. I don't know. Like the venison hot sticks. So tip your hand to me. What do you got?
Oh, I'm going hot sticks all day.
I'm going to come with you.
All right.
I like venison. Venison sticks. Yeah.
That's a really bad 3, but we know what it means. All right, we're going to break Z-Dub's heart here. Cannibal sandwich or Clement's Smokies?
Oh, you know it's got to be the Smokies. Come on,
it's got to be the Smokies. Sorry, Dubs. I know that cannibal sandwich is your thing, but I am not interested. I have no interest at all. We got Johnsonville summer sausage or Usinger's Braunschweiger.
Summer sausage. Let's go.
Yep, done.
All right,
Z-Dubs in all caps. Cannibal sandwich is the only correct answer. All right, salty.
We got Lush popcorn or El Rey chips. Oh, come on! You can't know. El Rey, done.
El Rey, I agree.
All right, Deluscious chips or Funky Fresh. What? I don't even know what that is. I know what neither of these are.
I'm looking up the Delish. That's Delicious.
While you're looking that up, I already spotted the thing that's winning this entire bracket, so we may as well.
You don't know that for sure. Stop cheating. I'm going with I'm going with the delicious chips. You game?
Okay, well, that's fine because I don't even know what the funky fresh spring rolls
All
are.
right, we got Pretzilla Bites or MPC
Or
Bavarian
The
Beast.
Milwaukee Pretzel Company Bavarian Beast, also known as the pretzel that we always eat.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess that wins. Let's do that thing.
It does. It does.
Funky fresh spring rolls are amazing, Z-Dub says.
Oh, wow. Can I just like vote both of these off the island?
Oof. How about we just move the Bavarian Beast up here? Call it a day.
Yep.
Because yeah, no,
Done.
no.
If I had to get punched in the face, I would probably do the pickled eggs.
Z-Dubs hates us again. He wants the herring. You can have all the herring,
Right.
Dubs. All right.
Right.
El Rey chips or the delicious chips?
El Rey,
Yeah, I agree.
pretzel.
Up here we've got cheese curds or venison hot sticks. Ooh.
Venison hot sticks.
You know, we've got sausage in the other two, so I'm going to go with the cheese curds.
Well, and I know that the chat is gonna stand cheese curds.
So chat,
that's fine.
cheese curds or venison hot sticks? Wiggs is on the hot sticks.
Oh, all right, Wiggs. I see you.
The rule is the audience picks after the final four. No, that is not correct. Dubs hot sticks. Okay, it looks like the hot sticks are going to get the venison wins.
Hmm.
Okay. We got the Clement
Let's see.
Smokies or the Johnsonville Summer Sausage. I'm going Smokies.
Are the Smokies like the little Smokies?
I would imagine
If it's
so.
the little Smokies, I'm going with the little Smokies.
I'm going to say that's what they are.
Okay,
So Smokies.
nice.
Summer sauce. Everybody wanted the summer sausage. We got the cream puff and we got Greeby's donuts. B, you're gonna hate me, but I'm going cream
Greeby's.
puff.
Greavy's donuts.
No, cream
Greavy's
puff.
donuts.
Cream puff.
Stop it.
Cream puff.
Stop it.
Just because you haven't
Where
had a
have you
good
had a
cream puff.
So where have you had a cream puff that wasn't just bland and boring and like?
It is
cream?
a place called, oh, I can't remember the name. It's, believe it or not, it's a truck stop in Madison. There's one in
Okay.
Johnson Creek too. I can't remember the name. But yeah, there's
Oh, is it the place where like you can get the cookies that are like the size of your face?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Cream puff,
Okay.
next level. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, I remember that place. I don't remember the name, but it's like a little diner, and like you
Yeah.
can get like giant cookies that are like the size of your face.
Yep.
And... Okay.
Legit.
Yep.
All right, so far I only see one vote for cream puff. Going once, going twice. Pine cone. Thank you, Wiggs. That's what it is.
Yes, pine cone. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
dude. Pine cone and Madison, cream puff, amazing. We got a vote for each.
I feel like I had the pine cone cream puff. I feel like it was probably pretty good.
Cream puff. All right, we're going with the cream puff.
Cream puff.
We got
All right,
Quick
cool.
Trip and we got the Kringle. I gotta go
Quick Trip.
I gotta go Kringle on this one, man.
What?
Yeah.
But it's not the good Kringle.
It still looks pretty goddamn good, just because it isn't the best.
You just know that if you vote that Kringle in, I'm voting for the cream puff out of spite.
That's fine. Oh, we got a Kringle and a Glazers vote. Emily voted for Kareem Puff. Glazers, Quick Trip gets the nod.
All right.
All right, we got the cheese spread and we got the secret stadium. I'm going sauce. Secret
Yeah.
stadium sauce is pretty legit.
Yeah.
And then we got the Coops mustard or the beer cheese dip.
Beer cheese.
Okay, I can give you that
Oh,
one.
you're hesitating.
I can give you that one. All right, we're going back to the sweets. Cream
Okay.
puffs or Quick Trip Glazers.
So just refresh my memory. So the Glazers are just like a general like glazed donut. It's
Yes.
not like Jimmy's and blah 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 blah.
Nope, just a glazed donut.
Cream puff.
You know, the funny thing is I'm going to go with the Glazers. Like the Kringle would have beat out the cream puff too, but now I'm stuck with the stupid Glazers. But it doesn't matter because it looks like the cream puffs are going to do it. I wanted
All
a
right.
donut, but cream puff is the vote. All right, cream puff to the final four. Let's go back down to the sauce dip. We've got secret stadium sauce and beer cheese dip. Oh,
Beer cheese dip.
It's kind of like, do you want a dip or do you want a sauce, right? Like, depending on which one.
Right. Yeah, beer cheese, I would say.
All right, I'll give you beer cheese. All right, over here, we've got in the salty aisle, we got El Rey chips, or we've got the Bavarian Beast. I think the pretzel moves on.
The pretzel. Love you, El Rey chips, but the pretzel takes it.
And then we got the venison hot steaks versus a Clement Smokies. I think I'm going hot sticks.
Hot stick.
All right, hot sticks versus the pretzel.
Pretzel.
I would agree. Hot sticks, they're getting lots of votes. And then we got the cream puff or the beer cheese dip.
The pretzel has to meet its ideal pairing in the finals. You know what this is.
I kind of agree with you. All right.
I mean,
I'm gonna open it up for chat. We will still have we'll still give our vote. But chat, we've got the giant Bavarian pretzel and the beer cheese dip. Brothers in arms in the finals. What would get your vote as the winner of the Snackosaurus or whatever the hell this thing was called? Wiggs said beer cheese with anything, which is really weird because he voted for cream puffs earlier. How do you pick between the pretzel and its critical dip? That's the question.
I mean, that's fair. Like, it's a fair question, right?
Dub says beer cheese because the beer cheese is good on its own, but a pretzel is only as good as the dip. Okay. It sounds like Wiggs likes beer cheese as well. Beer cheese ran away with it, man. We haven't heard from Emily, but otherwise beer cheese all day. What do you think, B? What gets your vote?
I think the chat swayed me. I'll give it to beer cheese.
Yeah, I was totally Emily doesn't know what any of these things are. I was gonna go with
we just need to send Emily a Wisconsin snack pack.
We need to. I was totally set to go with the pretzel, but beer cheese is unanimous in the chat, and I think we cannot ignore that. So the winner is the beer cheese dip.
And I am awaiting the Snapchat that I'm going to get from the person who listens to the podcast about this to see whether they agree or whether they disagree. Because we actually just had a pretzel like 2 weeks ago and it had beer cheese. So
we should find out.
We'll see how this goes.
Wig says we'll only do that if she sends us a more random care package. And Emily was busy getting killed on GTA. So, all right. So that was fun. I enjoyed that. I like these bracket ones. I like these a lot. This is cool. I want to do more of these.
Okay.
But we need to get to Apex rank. So first, it's extra point time. Landmark, what do you got for us?
It is extra point time. So, spent some time this week thinking about acts of kindness. Now, I've had an interesting week since we last got together, and I've experienced a few acts of kindness and also a few acts of not kindness, right? And it really makes me think about how meaningful those acts of kindness are when, people go out of their way to be helpful to you, like you, Sconzi, and Old Man Wiggum have been being helpful to me, or when people who you don't expect anything from, acknowledge you in some way or things like that. And I think it's really important to just point out that giving someone else an act of kindness is sometimes the easiest thing that you can do. And sometimes that act of kindness might even be not opening your mouth and saying something offensive, because nobody needs that. Like, nobody needs you to open your mouth and say some stupid shit just because you're thinking it. Like, be kind to people. Like, because it really matters. We've talked a lot on this podcast about people having their own struggles, having things that they're going through, and sometimes an act of kindness can go so much farther than you could ever think it would. So my ask for you this week is to go forward with at least one act of kindness for someone in your life. And that's something that I hope to do as well.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that, B. In a similar vein, I think it's really important that we're spreading acts of hatred and violence as much as we can. So my ask is that you go out there and you start no, I'm kidding. I have no idea. Like, I know I say that a lot. I really have no idea. I've been so preoccupied with everything in my life. I have not spent any time whatsoever on what I want to say here for my extra point. So what I'm going to say, and I mentioned this on stream before we started the podcast, but it could impact the podcast as well, so I'm going to say it here. I'm in a certain spot emotionally, and it may end up with me taking time off stream randomly at times. Maybe the podcast will get impacted, maybe it won't. And I just want to say thank you to those who support what I'm doing here, what we're doing here. And thank you for your grace that I feel confident I will get from you as I work through whatever the hell garbage I need to work through. And because to what B said is, God knows we talk about a lot of the hatred and vitriol going on in the world a lot on this podcast, but we try to do so with an angle towards making the world a better place, hopefully. And one big way of doing that is by having grace, by leading with love, hashtag lead with love, and by putting good into the world, because there's enough negative and ugly and garbage out there. Let's put more love and kindness into the world. And I think it's important that we do that. So thank you for sharing your thought, B, and pushing me in that direction. And again, thank you for the grace that all of you, I hope, will give me over the course of the next, however long. And with that, B, why don't you take us home, my dude?
All right. Well, you, loyal listener, loyal viewer, can find us online in a variety of places. As always, you can find Sconzi on Amazon Sidewalk. You can find me on Twitter at LandmarkMKE. You can find Sconzi on Twitter at Sconzi. You can find the podcast on YouTube. Check the little subscribe or the follow thing on, well, I don't know what it's called anymore. I'm not a streamer. But make sure that you follow Sconzi so you get all of those updates. Make sure you download our podcast in your favorite podcast app. Leave us a 5-star review. Tell us how awesome we are. Just don't talk about our food takes or, the fact that I spent the entire season complaining about the Milwaukee Wave and now they made the playoffs, baby! Granted, they're facing a team that has won 20 straight games, but at least they've made the playoffs. So there's a chance, as that gif from, I think, is that from American Pie or what is that gif?
No. That's Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber, okay. Yeah. So, that. But anyway, we appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We will catch you soon. And have a great rest of the day whenever you listen to this or see it.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.